Well, hello there, and welcome to Stupid O'Clock. As you may have noticed, I am not Joe Dog McKeel, but he is here. He's just backstage taking care of some last minute things. Ooh, the hairbrush did not work. Uh, oh well, I wasn't born to be pretty. And speaking of someone who was a girl, and another candidate for male beauty is Joe Bachman. And we will try and just wing it until Joe Dog is finished with his off-screen tasks. And we've got Carl and Donna and Zach in the audience already. So, hey, the gang is here.
I will send Zach a link.
You're not doing. Oh, I started to say it's Dragon Con weekend. You're not doing Dragon Con security, John?
No, I quit going to Dragon Con a long time ago.
Oh, okay. I never have been. It's too many people in concentrated in too small of a space, even though it's a
not
huge
that.
space.
When it first started, I could go down to Dragon Con for about $250, $300. Now you spend that just to park your car.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Well,
Hotel rooms run $200 a night.
I'll probably never have to worry about that unless for some reason I get suddenly rich and famous. And in that case, they'll be paying for it, not me. Like I said, I don't know that. And
Zach, I sent it to your Discord. So get in here and we'll talk about rocket stuff. Because they posted the video. U.S. has an observer satellite orbiting the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And adding insult to injury, apparently they've photographed the area where the Russian lander landed really, really hard.
Did they do what we did with that Mars mission and forget to convert from centigrade to Fahrenheit or something?
Yeah, the meters and yards and something like that.
Well, that's not too big a problem, but
it is
kilometers and miles.
Yeah, it is if you're traveling 82 million miles. Talking about the difference, 2 million, and
It's close enough for government work. And as a former government employee, I can say that.
In Russia, the government calculates you. Hmm. There's a fellow that I used to some of the Atlanta conventions.
Zach, it's never going to launch. There's a hurricane, but they're still trying.
Just waiting for the eye of the storm to move over the launch pad, and then it's a go.
It's Florida. They can't launch the rocket unless everybody's got sunscreen on. I mean, come on. It's
Oh, Dawn.
Hey, Don.
As I was saying, there's a guy that I used to some of the Atlanta conventions, and he would do the most convincing Russian accent. But when he wasn't trying to do that, he sounded like anybody else in Atlanta, just Southern as all get out.
Oh, yeah.
Every unit in the military that you're in, every platoon, has the one comedian. Okay. And
that was you.
He's usually the guy you have to keep away from the radio. In our unit, it was actually the guy that ran the radio. And of course, we're stationed in Berlin when the Berlin Wall was still up. So there are literally East Germans and Russians like there. You know, you see them right there. And he got on the radio on one of the company nets one night, started doing a Russian accent. We can hear you, Americans, and somebody come on. You need to maintain some professionalism on this net. And he says, we are very professional in Russia. And they said, okay, that's not funny. We're gonna find out who's doing that. And okay, I was sitting there with him, listening to him, laughing at what he was saying. I was listening to the commanders on the other end threatening us over the radio, even though they didn't know who we were. And another Russian accent comes on and goes, yes, we are very professional in the Russian military.
Oh, shit.
So,
Sudden silence on the other end of radio.
Right before I left where I was working, we have the new digitalized computer radio system. When you key up the mic, not only does it know within 3 feet of your location, it tells what radio keyed up.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them do that now. So,
yeah, I don't think ours had the location on it in the plow trucks. It just had, who keyed up.
Yeah.
This was back in the day of Prick 77s and Angry 88s. Now that they got the new Sengars and digital ICOM systems and all that sort of thing, everything's got serial numbers. So when you key up, somebody
knows exactly who it was.
Yeah, somebody in Langley, Virginia knows exactly who you are.
That is why a lot of the people at work who have to tote the radio around all day long will often make an early shift visit to the shift and swap radios with them without their knowing.
Hello, Matthew. Creek. Okay.
I'm guessing.
Hey, we're Southern. We just wing it.
We can murder any name.
Well, three of us are Southern. I'm Northern, and I can still murder a name. So,
no, Joe, you would have loved listening to our radio in March of 1993. John knows exactly what I'm talking about.
The big snowstorm.
Yeah. It was the snowstorm that covered the South.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I remember that one.
It's like...
So it's Matthew Craig.
Craig. Okay.
Pronunciation guides are often essential.
Yeah. But yeah, the most fun was when we had what was known as thunder snow.
Yes, we had that up here several times.
Well, now realize we're a bunch of Southern folk who've never seen a blizzard before. And
You know
all of
what-
a sudden, lightning starts popping around us.
Do you know what they call ice hockey in Tennessee? Swimming.
Yeah, I always loved when we got thunder snow up here because you could track the storm by the radio. Because all of a sudden you'd hear the first person key up, who was generally the farthest west, going, "Anybody else just see a bright flash?"
With us, it was, what was that?
There was this radio.
That was my thought the first time I ever saw it.
There was this TV station in Biloxi, Mississippi, KLUX or KLOX, excuse me.
Mhm.
It's WLOX.
Yeah, W on the east side, K on the west of the Mississippi.
And every time there'd be a hurricane down in the Gulf, they start doing the hurricane report. Well, they had an unofficial lottery that if you could guess what time the power would go out and the station would go off the air, you win the pot.
Hey,
Hello,
Don.
Don. You got somebody
Hi.
creeping outside the window
And
again?
Mr. Craig said he found us through Brian K. Morris. We're sorry.
Ah,
You have our sympathies.
Yeah.
quick,
We're very well acquainted. We're very well acquainted with the.
quick, call Brian. Tell him another one escaped.
Yeah.
They're finding their way out.
You guys were talking about the snowstorm. We went trick or treating in 3 feet of snow one year. I was 92.
Well, yeah, it's normal in Minnesota.
No, it's not.
Remember,
Well,
John and Joe Dog and I are down here where 3 snowflakes
Basking
is
in the
enough to
sun.
it's 3 snowflakes is enough to shut Atlanta down for a week.
So here's the difference in snow between what northern Indiana gets and the rest of Indiana. Okay. They had a snowstorm down by Indy that ended up actually shutting down our government center for like a day or two.
So it was good. It was a good snowstorm.
And yeah.
And
And
with
we're
a lot of
all,
confusion.
well, I mean, Indy's getting hammered, which means we're really getting hammered up here. We didn't shut down. They didn't give us approval to shut down.
You know, I used to joke
Before
about
they
that.
shut down.
You can handle
Even
it.
after they shut down.
I used to joke about that. In Tennessee, you get 3 inches of snow, it shuts everything down.
Well, yeah, but you guys don't have the plows and everything else that we do.
Yeah.
and we got
right.
these things called ridges and mountains.
Oh, we have those in LaPorte County. Most people
Have you
call
ever-
them ditches. I call them, you won't find the vehicle until spring thaw.
Have you ever seen the movie? Have you ever seen the movie Cool Runnings?
Yes.
Remember the first time the Jamaicans saw snow?
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it is in Tennessee. Okay.
Have you ever
But when-
seen the movie Fargo? That's pretty much how it is in Minnesota.
Well, somebody posted up a video of from Montana going, "Hey, Montana," and you can see his breath. He says, "It's August, damn it!"
I saw that. Yes, I saw that video.
And then the guy from Florida says, "You just shut the hell up."
Well,
You
no,
know-
we had that snowstorm, and we had a conference down in Indy a couple weeks later, and they were calling for like 6 inches of snow overnight. And at the end of the first day, they go, "Okay, is anybody afraid they're not going to be able to make it in tomorrow? This, that, and the other." And you see a few hands pop up, and they're like, "Does anybody think they will be here no matter what?" And you see all of us from LaPorte District raise our hand, and it was only us that rose our hand. And the instructor looks around and goes, "You boys are all from the Northwest District, aren't you?" My construction engineer goes, "Yep." He goes, 6 inches of snow doesn't bother you, does it? He goes, "We don't even call a 2-hour delay for school on 6 inches of snow."
In
Well,
When I
Berlin.
first
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
well,
when
down
I first
here,
moved down
oh,
here to Peoria, we the first time I saw a plow, I looked at Ted and I go, "Is that a plow?" He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "It's a baby." Even
Compared to what you have, yeah.
well,
We do have snow plows.
well, one thing, the difference about the southern snow and the northern snow, if you get hit in the side of the head with a southern snowball, it'll flip you.
Because most of these rednecks put rocks in them.
But by the way, Ted said hi. I don't know if y'all saw that.
Matthew Craig says, "What do you guys write about?" Well, the only real author in the group, I believe, right now is Dan. Rest of us just sort of fake it and wing it.
Yeah, Joe Dog runs a convention. John is security for convention. Joe Botman is an highway inspector for construction and stuff like that. And he plays with snowplows for and don't publicity agent for a major. Well, I will say she's a major writer. I respect her. I like her books. I enjoy them.
You forgot Joe also runs IndieCD.org for creative people.
Ah, yeah.
Well, I've
I
only
drink-
I've
I
only
drink
had
beer.
3 years. It's hard to get more than one thought in my head at a time. Give me another 30 minutes and I'll be able to multitask.
Oh, and all you people that think, hey,
I
let's
drink
run
and I know things.
and all you people that think, hey, let's start a convention. Don't. If you think it will be fun and easy and all that, it's a year-round job.
You know, I actually thought about at one time starting a company that all they do is run sci-fi conventions. And they just go from town to town to all the different conventions in the area and set everything up and run it for people.
And
What
then the meds wore off.
No, I just couldn't find enough money for people. But and then I got older, so I'd have to sell it to younger people.
That's
But,
pretty much what QuadCon is up here in the Midwest.
Oh,
Well, the thing is, Dan was mentioning earlier is I didn't go to Dragon Con. I used to pull a lot of security down Dragon Con. It's going on. It started this afternoon. And a lot of my friends still work that convention. And but they're still they work other conventions as well. I used to work 3 or 4 conventions a year. And I knew all these people that basically were behind the scenes running the conventions. And I said, if I were to get a bunch of these folks together, put them on a regular paycheck, we could actually start a company running conventions. No more of this volunteer stuff. We'd actually,
who the hell kicked me out?
Ping, ping. Okay. Joe Dog with no picture.
I blame
yeah.
Joe Dog.
No, I got kicked out. I mean, it just all of a sudden, bloop.
Well, the 2 people
Welcome
on
to
the
my
bottom row are
internet.
innocent. The 2 people on the bottom row are innocent because we don't have admin capabilities.
Well,
I think StreamYard glitched because we've got this question in here 3 times.
Well, no. Joe Dog activated the ability
Oh.
for the guests to be able to type comments, and apparently it goes to every YouTube channel.
oh,
Okay.
that will do it.
Effing Con, aren't they all?
It's in Effingham, Illinois.
Oh, my bad.
So he's
Yeah,
up
I
there
don't
near y'all.
Effingcon, isn't that what you call
They call all of them.
is that what you call your convention, Joe Dog, as it gets closer?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was just complaining about trying to set up the movie list for the movie room, and every time it start going, it'd play one and then stop at the next one. So he's trying to figure out what's wrong with it.
It'll skip movies, and then I'll go back into the playlist, and there's no time for the movie. So it just skips it. So I go in, reload all the movies, get everything going again.
So yeah, he's about tired of this effing con.
And then, save the playlist. I close the media player, reopen the media player, check the playlist. It's fine. I'll throw it over to play and look, and different movies don't have the time listed. Joe, are you understanding what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I am.
The computer doesn't like.
Maybe you should get a different movie playing program. Because you're using the Windows one, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you need to get something a little less Windows.
I don't want to have to learn a new system this late in the game.
I'll get VLC.
They usually work similarly. Some of them work a lot better than Windows.
VLC is
free.
I've got everything, figured out. Now I'm doing back timing, so I can make the playlist. The printout of the playlist, so everybody can know what movie's going to start when. And I actually found the theatrical release to Buck Rogers in the 25th Century.
Ooh. That's like the 2-hour season or series premiere.
Yeah, the series
the one
premiere
that they put it out in the theaters. Yeah,
and it has a completely different opening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's nothing like Aaron Gray in that one-piece swimsuit with the diamond studs down to here going, flipping her hair.
Can you do the hair flip again, Joe? You don't have it now. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go back and clip that now.
He says it's for video and tabletop games. Okay.
Yeah.
Matthew, if you want, check out indiecd.org, and I need to add a link to that. Crap. There is a calendar on there where you can put conventions and stuff, which will have a link on that page shortly because I forgot to add it.
No, Joe Doug is not having a seizure.
He got his hair caught in a chair again.
He's just thinking about Aaron Gray from the 70s.
Yep.
Y'all all right now. I know it.
I don't know. I'm thinking about Aaron Gray from the 70s.
Yeah,
I'll never be all right again.
I think y'all are thinking about it now.
She was pretty nice in Buck Rogers, but I actually liked her better in Six Pack. You remember that one, Kenny Rogers?
Oh, yeah.
Had a bunch of young and up-and-coming stars.
Diane Lane.
What's his name? Blonde
Anthony Michael Hall.
Thank you. Anthony Michael. Who went on to do all that stuff with, the Brat Pack.
Oh, I was watching the movie Them, and there's a very, very, very young James Arnaz.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
And a very young James Whitmore.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they did a great job considering the subject matter. That is a movie that was showing at a science fiction convention when H. Beam Piper was still alive and was going to science fiction conventions. He walked out of the movie. I mean, it was movie room, movie night, whatever. He walked out of the movie. One of the other people that were in there walked out. And the other guy goes, science fiction, And H. Beam Piper says, hell, I write this.
It was so bad even he walked away from it.
Yeah. A universal trope that I use, but is a violation of actual fact, is that radiation makes grow huge. No, it don't. It just kills everything.
Oh, and another show that I've got scheduled to run is Space 1999 Breakaway
Yes.
episode.
Oh, that one, yeah.
The
Which
one
is
where
another science fiction trope that you can send the moon out of orbit with a few nuclear explosions. But
now here's if that movie was released today, or if that show was released today, the right wing conservatives would lose their freaking mind over it. There are men in dresses.
no,
Don't
I mean,
worry
we're
about that.
talking a couple of the major scientists were in long dresses.
look out, Joe!
I know, I saw it sneak in.
Yeah.
No,
Smack
I
him,
brought
Donnie,
her to
smack
you.
him.
I don't have.
She's looking
lost
for the
the hat?
kitten. Yeah, she's looking for the kitten.
I thought you were checking your tattoo again.
It's not a tattoo. That's the mark the frying pan left the
Yeah,
last time she
it says
smacked
lodge backwards.
Yeah. Oh. No, she's got a shirt on that has 2 4-leaf clovers up here.
We
And
saw
it,
it.
and it says, if you touch my Lucky Charms, I'm going to choke your leprechaun. And I went,
How's your leprechaun doing?
Deal's a deal.
yeah. She got mad. That's exactly what I said. And she turned around and walked off. Didn't work.
Ah,
False advertising. You should
Yeah.
sue. Okay. That's-
always the groomsman, never the groom. Ah,
So, there's this company that is building cardboard drones for Ukraine. Have you heard about this?
No.
Okay.
no.
They're these little electric powered super lightweight cardboard. It says cardboard, but they're actually made out of some waxed foam board material.
Yeah.
Really lightweight, carry a decent payload because they got big wings, and I think they run electric engines, electric motors, like a drone does, but it's actually a wind drone. And they carry a decent payload. And they were testing these things. I love their test facility. It's out in the middle of a field. It's a big white cloth square with a crosshair in the middle of it. And they got this little plywood building right out in the middle, just like a target.
I know she isn't in here.
And on the roof of the building, they've got a big white Z painted on top of the building.
Z is Russian.
And they flew one over, and just as it flew, they're training with them. Just as it flew over the building, they detonated it, and you could see just this cloud. It looks like I had a claymore mine on the bottom of it. And there's just this big cloud of impacts all around that little house. Pretty cool.
Why don't they just build drones out of claymores?
Those would be very specific, and a claymore only is effective out to about 60 meters. So you'd have to be 60 meters over the ground.
Well, moving quick enough. 60 meters is what?
And you can't really kill a tank with a claymore. They prefer things like mortar shells.
Yeah, but you pop about 4 or 5 on top of them, I bet you the guys will come out of that tank.
Hard to say.
Hey, enough of that rattling over top of your head, you'd want out of it too.
It's a Russian tank. It's built to rattle. Okay.
You never notice it.
Yeah, that's the standard operating procedure on a Russian tank.
It'd be like driving a 67 GMC pickup truck across the field in
Joe?
1983.
When you were working for the city, what was the oldest pickup truck you drove? Or not, dump truck, excuse me.
At the time, let's see, I was there in the 90s. It was late 70s model.
Late 70s model. You know how fun they are to drive when there's nothing in them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how a Russian tank drives. Just,
Well, if you remember when we, the first Iraq conflict,
yeah.
all we did was when we went in, when we sent the ground troops in, they were giving up just so we'd stop bombing them.
They had that drone for targeting, the Navy had them for
Yeah.
targeting ships' guns. And the New Jersey flew its drones. And every time that, and they got used to seeing this, every time that drone flew in, the 16-inch shells would follow.
Yeah.
And they were watching entire units just disappear from all these 16-inch shells hitting and just wiping out everything in that area.
Yeah.
Naval gunfire is not terribly accurate, but it is terribly effective. They'd see that drone fly over these guys. A few seconds later, the shells would come in, whoosh, just everything gone. And the drones start flying in their direction. And they were like looking at the drone going, we give up. You win. Don't waste a shell on us, please.
Well, good grief. They were surrendering to CNN reporters.
Anybody that looked American. Yeah.
We had this one guy, and it's kind of funny. He got stuck driving a military bus in Iraq across the border, up the highway, following all the tankers and stuff. And somewhere down the line, the tankers stopped out in the middle of the desert because they were running alongside of the road. He was just driving. All of a sudden, he pulls up to a checkpoint. A bunch of Iraqis come out with AK-47s and surrender to a bus.
Well,
And we don't care.
well, what about the poor guy from Dallas? He was Iraqi native, but was an American citizen. Went to visit family in Kuwait and got conscripted into the Iraqi army. He was wearing his Dallas Cowboys T-shirt when they surrendered, and in the biggest biggest Texas draw, when the soldiers came to capture them, he goes, "About damn time y'all got here." What? He goes, "I'm from Dallas." Well, he had to go through some debriefing and quite a bit of interrogation, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Happened to Lindsay's dad in World War II. Navigator and radio man on a 3-man tank. Got blown up by a Panzer. The tank did. With his uniform on fire, and gets captured by a 4-man squad of American troops. It just so happens he was in the paratrooper. His tank was airdrop.
Damn.
He had a black uniform like the Panzer drivers. Troops were just about to shoot him until he started asking if anybody had a cigarette in this soft, gentle British accent. Fire! He's asking for a cigarette. He's already got a light, He spent some time in a burn unit. Got a little bit of reconstructive surgery for the burns. Went Corps.
You cut out just then. When and core.
He after the surgery and everything, he went right back to the tank corps.
Ah.
got another one under him. Uh, they wouldn't let him go back again. They were running out of tanks. They weren't worried about him. They were just running out of tanks.
Yeah. When you were talking about airdropping, it reminded me of the 18 movie. They're flying a tank. They're changing course by firing.
I imagine that would work. Well, this wasn't a really impressive huge tank. This was a little bitty 3-man.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
little British tank.
yeah, and it was designed to be lightweight, so it could be parachute dropped from gliders, could be towed by a glider. And we had one guy at one of the conventions told Lindsay that never happened. I got on Google and proved yes, it did. I mean, this guy was supposed to be some military writer, um, uh, military fiction.
That's probably what he was in. Is that what you brought up, John?
Yes.
Could be. Could be.
Now, do you guys know how the name Tank came about?
I do know one story. I don't know if it's the true one. You tell us and confirm or deny if that's the one that I heard.
Now that's
Ain't
a
it
tank.
cute? It's
Oh,
It's a baby. It's a baby. And to make the baby blows.
they picked that one before it was ripe.
The
it's still green.
British.
Yeah.
I think the British are the ones that invented the tank, right?
I
Yes.
do believe so.
Okay. It was something about they were using a code name for what they were buying all the steel for was a water tank.
That's the one that I heard, yes.
Yeah.
Look, that didn't work too well.
That's a Hamilcar glider, yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
apparently they can put all sorts of fun stuff in there. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they would load up pretty much the British equivalent of a DC-3 with paratroopers and then load about the same many in the glider. And then they all bail out about the same time. DC-3 turns around, swings back towards Britain. Halfway across the channel, they cut the line on the glider, and the glider lands about the cliffs and gets ready for a reload.
Well, there were some that were had
all the way
U.S.
in.
Special Forces. They went behind enemy lines and landed. My second wife's dad did that. U.S. Special Forces glider pilot. And he wound up in France and evidently had a great time. Aside from everybody shooting at him, but he found a pub. he would find a pub. If you dropped him in the middle of Antarctica, he would find a pub within 5. Just that kind of guy.
Yeah. Well, maybe John can help me on this, but there are talks now that the Special Forces paratroopers use wingsuits now.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
Not that I know of. I mean, I can imagine them trying to do halos with it, though. That would give them a lot more range on a halo drop.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think they have like a 10-to-1 glide slope.
Yeah.
For every 10 feet, they drop one. I mean, and you bailing out at 40,000 feet.
You got a little bit of range there.
Yeah. And they won't show up on radar either.
Too tiny.
hear what happened in our city yesterday? Yesterday, last night, today?
It snowed.
No.
Flashback.
Well, it kind of did. It rained bullets. We had multiple mass shootings currently on the south end
Ooh.
here in town.
Where's this?
Now,
Peoria.
Oh,
Now,
yes. I did hear about the shooting.
now, I hate to say this now, but gang violence, they're labeling mass shootings now.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's gang violence, but they're saying it's not ever. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
It sounds
started
prettier.
Yeah, they started last night, and then I know it was 9 o'clock this morning. There was 25 more shots fired.
Well, it was about 15, 20 years ago here in Chattanooga. There was, I mean, they caught this on video. These two guys got in a shootout and unloaded their 9mm point blank and didn't hit each other. Between two cars between them, still couldn't hit each other.
Well, I know there was a couple of people that were in the hospital. Some people died. I heard there was like at the ER that they took them to that people were trying to get in to see them. So then people were starting fights outside the ER, and it's just I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go stay in my little house here in my little neighborhood. And so the friend I went to visit this afternoon, she was across the river. She was in a different town. I'm like, I gotta get going. They go, well, number one, stupid o'clock's gonna be starting. Yeah, that's right. I go, but number two, I want to get back into town and home before the sun goes down. I don't live that close to it, but you never know what's going to drift.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but labeling a gang shootout as a mass shooting is, you know,
Well,
okay.
that's one way to drive this for people's arguments.
Yeah, that's all it is.
exactly why it's done.
So it's just kind of like, well, little hairy here in town right now. So
Keep your head down. Keep your head on a swivel and keep it low.
Well, they're trying to take the gangbanger label off of all this crap, so as not to glorify the gangbangers. No, don't give them no damn publicity. It's a mass shooting, and it makes them sound like a psychopath.
well, they are, but that's beside the point. But yeah, it's just kind of. And what I feel bad is that there's two high schools that were kind of in that area, and they went to school today, but they decided to go ahead and cancel all after-school activities for the kids because a lot of the people involved are juveniles. But they canceled it because they weren't sure what was going to happen. It's like, well, I feel bad for those damn kids. You know, that's not the kids that aren't doing the, you know, they're just trying to go to school and do their thing. It's like,
Maybe.
I feel bad for them.
We don't know. We don't know who did what.
But I'm just saying for the kids that are good kids that are just literally going to school and making grades and, you know, playing football because the one football team is really good. So they couldn't have practice tonight. It's like for the kids that are being.
They play Friday nights.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gotta suck.
Well, they've had to cancel games before because there's been fights with the schools and yeah. It's just it's bad because like I said, there's good kids going to these schools and they're the ones that are getting screwed.
There was a long time ago a fight between two football teams here in Chattanooga. I can't remember. I want to say it was Red Bank Hexen, but I can't remember. But both coaches threatened to disband their teams if it happened again. Yeah, I mean, he's like, it happened at a shopping mall, and big fight got. And of course, this was back in the days before they started blasting the mall up with 9mm and stuff. But they got in this big fight, and a couple of police showed up, secured mall security, and everybody's running through the stores trying to get out of the mall. Our mall has multiple entrances or exits, so you know people going every direction. And both coaches, you know, told their team, says, anything like that ever happens again, we will disband this team for the entire year, for the rest of the year. You'll have to try out again next year.
Yeah.
There isn't no. You're on the team next year. You got to try out.
It's, it ain't no carryover. If I disband this team, we start over fresh next year. So.
No,
And the seniors did not want
Hey,
to hear
Josh.
that. That's,
Oh well, they
yeah, that would pretty much ruin your chances of making a college team, or even later on down the road go.
I believe that got mentioned actually.
it's just one of those things. Like, what the hell? What was it, a couple of years ago? My alma mater, they're supposed to be playing their homecoming game. Well, the team they played against, they got in trouble they were hazing, I think, or something, and so they canceled. They couldn't go play the game, and it was like, but it's the other team's homecoming. So I forgot there was a team that had a bye that week. They decided just to come up and play, so they just kind of had a scrimmage just so that my alma mater could have their homecoming game at least. Sometimes good things can happen. But... Oh, and Princess Kay of the Milky Way, the state fair queen for Minnesota. I graduated with her mom, and I went to school with her dad since I was in kindergarten.
Say that again slowly.
Princess Kay of the Milky Way. It's the queen for the Minnesota State Fair.
Princess K
Kay
of the Milky Way.
Yes. I think John's looking something up. What do y'all think?
And Josh,
I'll be darned if it wasn't number. After I typed in Princess K, it came up number 3 of the Milky Way.
Josh is asking, did the storm go south of you?
Yep. Everything went south and east of us, and the only thing we got out of the hurricane was rain, and not much of that. But we did get some cooler temperatures today, rather than the oh my god, the world is on fire heat that we've had for the rest of the summer.
Are you looking at the butter bus?
No, I just got the joke. It's all about dairy.
Yeah.
Princess K of the Milky Way. It has nothing to do with a galaxy. Yeah. It has to do with
it's got
cows,
to do with
milk, and butter. Yeah.
deep fried candy bars, man.
And they get they get butter bus. They sit in a cooler and they get their faces put into I think it was a 30-pound thing of butter.
Yep.
Think. Okay.
So they're making a bust of last year's queen.
No, well, that might be last year,
That's the 2010.
2010. Yeah, that doesn't look like Emma, but yeah.
We're going to sculpt you in imperishable butter.
And I think at the end of the state fair, they get to take their bus home with them.
Yeah, because that's what I'd want to take home with me.
Wrap it up, pack it in ice, and I'll put it in the deep freeze for the next 50 years.
I'm trying to be
Party.
nice because this is not the green room.
No, you mean it's not last man standing? If they come to last man standing.
Yeah, that's
Where's Richie with his signs when you need them?
oh heck, I can only die once. She's got a great body, but her face.
Oh.
Used to be proud to know you.
I got to give him the. That was good. That was good.
Yeah. Oh.
I, I
Hey,
cannot be the only person in the United States that has come up with that joke. I mean, that has to.
probably not, but even Carl appreciated that one.
Golf clap. Yes.
And the East German judge gave it a 4.
Hey, I used to date the East German judge.
You were a
Her name
braver
was
man.
Schmin. No.
Oh.
That was, kind of. I was there when the Berlin Wall came down, and basically East Germany went bankrupt. So did the Russians in East Germany, and it was kind of funny. They started just letting everybody come to the wall, and all these East Germans were coming in and just going nuts buying rock and roll records and fresh fruit because they couldn't get either of them in East Germany. And then there was this one girl. She was this good-looking blonde girl. She worked she didn't work. She would hang out at the bars downtown. She was an East German agent. Everybody knew it. She would tell you she worked for the East German Stasi. Okay. And it's I get paid to spy on the Allied service members. It says I come in here, I listen to what they say, I write reports, I send it back, they give me money. I said, and she says, but if they know the Americans and the Brits and the French aren't doing anything, they don't get scared. They're paranoid as hell. And as long as they get the right information, they don't start throwing nuclear weapons around. Flash forward, Berlin Wall collapses. East German government goes bankrupt. They start talking about reunification. The same bar she used to hang out in, listening to the GIs and stuff, she got a job as a waitress there.
Well,
She knew the staff.
she knew the staff and the clientele.
She was a regular.
And it's kind of, and we used to tip her big just because, she's, yeah.
I'm sure you did.
Well, A, she was good looking. B, she was fun. Just, to tell stories. She used to tell stories about East Germany. It's just like, she's like, our government is a bunch of idiots. It's just,
Guess what, honey? Everybody else's government is.
Here's what was funny. She'd go, I can't say that when I'm on the east side of the Berlin Wall. Says, I can come over here, say it all I want. and if anybody hears me and says, why did you say this government sucks? It says, well, I was spying on the Americans. I wanted to give them something to talk about.
There you go. Perfect cover.
But
I shall return.
She
All right.
she knew everybody at that bar. It was the Irish pub in the Europa Center. She knew everybody in the bar. She spoke English. She spoke German. She knew the East Germans, and just she was exactly the kind of person you'd want working in your bar. So, I always wondered what happened to her. I hope she made it. It's hard to get a job anywhere if your first job was spying for the East German government. Makes sense.
I'll bet.
Of course, there was a lot of that going around. They used to joke about they'd have these apartment buildings, and there'd be 40 families living in one building, whatever. And about 10 of them would be getting paid to spy on the other 30. But they never knew which ones were which, except on payday, because they'd all be standing in the same line to get the paycheck. They'd go back to the apartment building and they'd have a big party with their paychecks that they got from getting paid to spy on each other. and they'd invite the people that they were spying on. It was the biggest industry in East Germany. That sucking up to the
Oh. Oh, I'm just sort of monitoring what's going on. We may break in and show. Pretty much the only thing worth watching on the SpaceX launches now is the landings, right?
I mean, it's hey, Carl, let me throw this up here. Carl put this one in here. In vino veritas. Okay. Invite everybody to the party, get them drunk, and get them all liquored up.
Oh, Keith Lummer used to say in his stories that most diplomat plays at Costco.
Dan, you're breaking up.
I said Keith Lummer's stories that most diplomatic work actually takes place at cocktail parties.
Says and each night the diplomats would sacrifice their livers for freedom.
Well, some of them would sacrifice their livers for lack of freedom, but
now, okay, the head of the Wagner group, Prigozhin, who may have died in a plane crash that supposedly was blown up by a bomb put in there by a plane technician. We don't know if he's dead or not now.
well, he certainly hasn't popped up to say, "Hey, honey, I'm home."
No, he actually has. There's a video of him going, "Yeah, I knew this was going to happen." Apparently, the video was taken in Africa, where he has a big contingent of his people doing mercenary work down there. So we're not. Now, here's the interesting thing. Like most of the rich Russians, he had a body double. The body double's wife was seen at his graveside after he was buried.
That is a bit suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not sure if this guy's dead or not. So,
We'll just call him Bubba Hotep.
Bubba Hotep. I like that, actually. Wait a minute. Let's see. Let's see his name here. Maybe we can find a play.
Have you seen that movie, Joe? Have you seen that?
Is it on the playlist, Joe?
No, we're not doing mummies yet.
Which movie?
Bubba Hotep.
No.
You got to watch that.
It's fun.
Bruce Campbell, Ozzie Davis. Enough said.
And
You
Elvis.
had me at Bruce Campbell, so.
And Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sort of Elvis.
Yeah.
Well, Bruce Campbell is Elvis.
Mhm.
And Ozzy is JFK, so.
Donna Colleen says she owns Bubba Hotep.
That's not a good thing to say about Carl.
And Carl goes, "Oh no, not that movie."
Oh.
Facebook user says, "Pretty goes."
That was me.
Oh.
That is the fellow's last name. I was trying to think if we could do something like Bubba Prigozhin.
No,
'Cause I
but
do
we
like-
could probably
I
come
do
up
like
with
calling
something
that guy
better.
Bubba. He looks like a Bubba. It's-
Oh, but John, I was talking about the Starlink launch going up today. SpaceX is doing so many Starlink launches now They don't even have commentators anymore. So it's pretty much, if you want commentary on a
It's a trucking company now. It's-
pretty much,
yes.
if you want commentary on the Starlink launch, you got to do it yourself.
We can do that. My golly, Joe, there's a gap you could fill in right there.
And take stuff away from Zach? No, Joe Dog wouldn't do that.
All right, we are 20 minutes from launch.
Hmm.
We just got the 20-minute in.
Okay. And what's the weather?
They're going for launch, and ship is in a good area to land.
So
Okay.
apparently they're in the tail of the hurricane, and every time a hurricane comes through, the weather right after it is nice.
Beautiful.
All right. Roll for initiative.
Now, my brother lives over by Tampa, and he's not happy. His beach is gone.
You want to amplify that statement a little bit? His beach is gone.
It used to have these nice rolling dunes out to the main beach. It's now beach all the way up to the seawall, like a
Oh,
quarter mile.
okay.
And a lot of sand in his yard now.
He lives in Florida. What else is there?
Well, the dunes are in his yard.
So, buy a Volkswagen, build a dune buggy. Wait till the next storm, turn it into a hang glider. Set a world record. How'd you get the hang glider to New York City? Just lucky, I guess.
Hey guys, I got logged off, but I should be back for last mean standing.
Oh, why?
All right. She's
Mr.
gonna
Ted
sneak over. She's gonna sneak over and watch the SpaceX launch.
No, since I was out playing with my friends tonight, Ted was like, I need to talk to you about some things. Not bad stuff, but the usual couples conversation type of stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I know. I have to be that important. That relationship crap you got to work on, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give him about a minute and a half. He'll be done.
Maybe. You never know. So,
You want
we'll
to?
see some
There's a
later.
commercial.
Later.
All right. Good
Yeah.
night.
Good night.
Good night.
I'm surprised John didn't play it.
I'm sorry. There's some guy down here in Ringgold that got arrested for the June 6th or January 6th Capitol riot or something.
Oh. See you later.
Well, at least he ain't like the last guy and lost the next 18 years of his life.
I'm sure that there were more severe punishments available.
Well, they were wanting 37.
It's better than a firing squad.
Yeah. I'll tell you, that put an end to all that shit. Couple firing squads.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nope.
That would pretty much put a
Stocks on the
crimp in a
courthouse
lot.
lawn.
Say what?
Stocks on the courthouse lawn.
Oh no.
When the sun rises, they take you out. They put you in the stocks. The bailiff goes out. mixes up a trough full of court-appointed mud. They let school groups come by, pick up mud, throw it at you while you're in the stocks.
I guess too expensive now.
Well, you have to get the permission slip for the kids to leave school, the permission slip for the throwing the mud. You have to pay for the bus there and back, and
But
then
it's
all the
educational.
and then for the therapist for all the kids that saw the idiot covered in mud.
Aw.
Like any of them are going to look up from their cell phone long enough to do anything or see anything.
Exactly.
There you go. Put it on TikTok so all the kids will see it.
Hey, I like that. Live webcams. And you have a robotic mudslinger. Okay, just put in your credit card number, donate $5. You can throw mud at the guy.
I'm sure that there are people that would complain about the unfair competition for live webcams in that instance. There's an entire industry of live webcams that would be suffering if somebody else was watching something else.
Yeah. Well, my hanging out at NASA space flight worked out perfect.
Really?
Yeah.
I said howdy from Tennessee. Now I've got a membership for a year, or I mean for the rest of the month with their channel.
Woo, you got to milk that.
Damn straight I do.
Yeah, you do.
Come on, Bessie.
Carl goes, where do I pay my $5?
Hey, I could solve the national debt with this scheme right here.
Oh yeah.
Especially
Among others.
Especially if they put Trump in the stocks.
I'm not going to put the numbers out there, but hey, 240 million. Yeah, I'm going to drop $3.
$3.
Yeah.
When's the deadline on that? Today?
About 9 minutes ago.
Oh, well. It's all right.
There's another one Saturday if it don't hit tonight.
That'll be fine.
Well, I
That's
look
been-
at it this way. My chances of winning and not buying a ticket is 0.
So you've increased
What is
your
it?
odds
Yeah.
significantly. I always said something they should do at DragonCon is, they've got that 4-number draw, the little tickets you can get with the 4 numbers on it. I can't
I
remember.
Yeah.
guess.
Can't remember. Buy tickets. Buy 8 tickets for everybody that shows up at DragonCon. Play their badge number. With as many people that show up as at DragonCon,
Somebody might win something.
you would have a winner twice a day at DragonCon.
Joe
Yeah.
Dog, was that a Powerball?
Yeah.
So the drawing was last night or Saturday night.
Oh, well, it's Saturday night? Okay.
Yeah, if you bought it today, if you bought that ticket today, it won't be. It'd be drawn on Saturday.
It should tell you there should be a draw date.
Because
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah,
Yeah,
Saturday.
It's Monday. Yeah, it's
All
Monday, Wednesday, Saturday.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mega Millions is
It's
Thursday and something else. Thursday and Friday? Or no, wait.
Tuesday, Friday.
Tuesday, Friday.
Tuesday, Friday. Okay. They only do 2,
Mhm.
but hey, $3. It's worth it.
Yeah, really.
And it's kind of fun. Especially by the
I
fake ones.
I
Tell
lose
everybody
more
that.
than that in the vending machines at work.
Yeah.
Every month, Oh, well, I really wanted that $5 bag of potato chips that's mostly air.
Mm.
You know how they've got these lotteries and the money supposedly goes toward education.
Yeah.
I always said if I were going to be emperor of the United States, and it could happen, I was going to start lotteries for National Park Service,
Yeah.
so they could generate more money from the National Park Service, and it would be money above and beyond their regular budget. So, NASA have a NASA lottery, and again, above and beyond their regular budget.
Lotteries
Hasn't
are a
caught
trap
me
for
yet.
time travelers.
And war memorials, especially these big ones like the battleships and aircraft carriers.
Oh, yeah.
Them things take a lot of upkeep.
Yeah.
Upkeep in one of those is in the millions of dollars per year. So,
And you buy your tickets at the post office.
buy your tickets at the post office.
There you go.
Then, what was the welcome centers? Have a lottery for the welcome centers, and you can buy lottery tickets at the welcome centers.
Well, you can buy, if state's got a lottery, you can buy welcome tickets at the welcome center.
But actually have a welcome center lottery that the money goes to maintaining and expanding welcome centers. Like, can you imagine a beer fest at the welcome center? Not that you should drink and drive. I don't advocate drinking and driving.
That wouldn't. That would go over wonderful for the state patrols.
Yeah, really.
That'd go into hey, their funding could be covered.
Free beer. Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't do that at the state lines. Just have a trooper there with a keg. Hey, free beer.
Have you ever been driving down the highway and seen State Line Liquor or State Line Tavern or State Line Pub, State Line Bar and Grill?
Especially
Yeah.
on them dry states.
Yeah. Fort Knox is in Hardin County.
A dry
Hardin-
county, I assume.
Hardin County is a dry county. But Fort Knox, being a Federal Reserve, has a Class 6 store which sells alcohol. And, of course, they sell beer in the convenience stores on Fort Knox. Once you leave Fort Knox, the only places you can buy beer, of course, outside the county. And there was this one convenience store that literally the parking lot, gas station, or gas pumps store, okay, where the parking lot was, everything to the side of the parking lot was Fort Knox Military Reservation. You could literally drive a tank right up to the convenience store
And buy beer.
and buy beer.
Well, and who would say no? I mean, seriously.
I won't say it's been done too often, but there are a lot of beer bottles in the woods around that convenience store. Let's put it that way.
Drive through, or
on
you
the-
want to give me a 6-pack?
On the Georgia-Alabama line, there are convenience stores built literally on the state line. And the back half of the store is where they sell lottery tickets. The entrance is on that in Alabama, but the back half of the store is in Georgia, and they sell lottery tickets in the
Yeah, there
store.
used to be, I can't remember where it was, somewhere up in Kentucky, I think, that it was right on the line, and they had the gambling machines, like the slot machines and stuff like that, on one side of the store, and you could buy liquor there. But on the other side of the store, you couldn't.
Back when my mom was growing up, the Bristol Renaissance Fair, which is right on the Illinois-Wisconsin state line. It used to be back then, you could drink in Wisconsin at 18 still. So on half of the fair, she could go and have a beer. But she had to finish it before she crossed back over into Illinois.
They changed the law, the federal law, from 18 to 21, 3 months before my 18th birthday. You want to
You
talk
were
about
not happy.
You want to talk about an unhappy camper.
Mhm.
But I joined the
John,
military.
remember, you're just a few months younger than me. Got me too.
So I joined
Yeah,
the
but
military.
you didn't go to Berlin just to have a beer or two, dog.
Well, no, strangely enough, once I got down to Fort Benning, I could get beers. Driving back home from Georgia, through Georgia, after basic training, we stopped at a restaurant and had beers. And, well, everybody in my family drinks beer, so that's no big deal. So I go to Berlin, of course, great beer. And then come back to the United States, and I'm still not 21.
See, excise. If I was a bar owner, excise would be nailing me with fees because, in my opinion, if you are old enough to put your life on the line and you have signed up for said duty,
I came
you
home from
you
home
should be
from
allowed
leave
to walk
once.
my establishment.
Stopped at a Pruitt's, the one up across from Northgate. Didn't think a thing about it because I'd been buying beer in Berlin. No big deal. Went to buy beer. Said, "Need to see your ID." I said, "What?" So I pull out my military ID, and she couldn't find my. It's got my birth date on the front of it. I don't know why she couldn't find it, but she held it up to the assistant manager. That I had a military ID. He took one look at it, saw it was military ID, said, "He's okay," and I wasn't.
Hey,
I was still under 21.
there was a time before I was in high school. I think the legal drink in Georgia was 18. There was one particular place you could go, had a drive-through, and as long as you had a driver's license, you could get beer and wine at 16, and nobody cared. And then I found out the local cops were getting a kickback from the liquor store. Of course, this is the same time period when the county sheriff's son was the biggest drug dealer in the county. So
I live in one of those counties.
his daddy would confiscate stuff. His boy would have a sale at high school the next day. I mean, seriously, this was the 70s. It was a totally different time. It was strange. Don't know how I survived. I guess because I was too dumb to try and break any laws. That had to wait until college.
Yeah, we're waiting to see if our county sheriff gets indicted on some charges.
I'm pretty sure my computer is listening to me. Because I was talking about Prigozhin. I wish I could pronounce his name. I was talking about how he may still be alive. I clicked on my news feed. It is covered up with something is fishy. Prigozhin is alive. Conspiracy erupts as body double claims run amok in wake of viral video. So,
That's why I wear headphones.
Oh, you wouldn't times that I ordered something online and then go to Facebook and there's an ad for just the company I ordered stuff from.
Yeah, why do they do that? Hell, you've already bought it.
I've already bought it. Yeah, show me something else I can spend my
you
money
hit the
on.
algorithm.
What I just did.
Well, that shows you right there. Al Gore got no rhythm, or he'd know how to do that dance.
Okay, everybody on the show here, repeat after me. Okay. Ontario combat knives. Just
No
say
way.
Oh hell, I'll do it. Ontario Combat Knives.
Just say it to your microphone. Say Ontario Combat Knives. We're trying an experiment.
Manitoba Combat Knives.
Manitoba. I don't know. Is there an actual knife company named Manitoba?
No, but there's Frost Cutlery.
Well, say Ontario Combat Knives because they actually make combat knives.
Well, Frost Cutlery makes combat knives.
Do they?
Yeah.
I didn't think they make actual combat steel. Dan, your turn. Just pick a knife company. It doesn't matter which one.
Cold Steel.
That's a good one.
Gurkha. Kukri.
Cold steel combat knives or something like that. Make sure you add combat knives. And the reason is if your computer is actually listening to what we're saying, you will start seeing ads for that brand of combat knives.
Believe ads for Cold Steel?
Yeah. They'll just
I'm
start
going to have to work overtime.
Joe?
Yeah.
You didn't tell us it was launching.
Oh, well, it just launched.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's wild. All you're hearing is the countdown, is the mission control net. There's no announcers.
You know, no offense, they're trying to put up the preeminent satellite internet connection, and they can't have somebody at their factory in Texas do the announcing over the internet. I mean, come on. It ain't like you have to pay for a studio or anything. You sit and,
They're doing so
They can do what we're doing.
They're doing so many that the actual engineers that, are working have to quit what they're doing to go do the 6-minute launch, and it takes about an hour to get everything prepped and then get back to work.
So you just have.
It's a shame they don't know a billionaire that could hire somebody just to be their announcer.
They're just
Hey, Zach,
sitting
you
there,
listen. Yeah.
They're
Sitting
working
there.
on it.
Stainless steel truck and go, hey, look, folks, it went up.
He's got those electric transfer trucks.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure how well they're doing. I notice you don't hear that much about them anymore.
Oh,
I was wondering about those myself. Yeah.
They're working so well that Pepsi just ordered another 200 to split between Pepsi and Frito-Lay. Have you seen the Walmart Plus? Have you seen the Walmart Plus vans that, the ones that deliver the groceries and bring them in your house and put them up for you? Have you seen those vans running around?
No.
Haven't had them in this area.
They're electric. And every store that they go to has a charger point. When they go to load, they plug it up for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that would work great because you have to stop long enough to load all the groceries and stuff.
Yeah. So. All right, we just had stage separation and second engine ignition. We'll jump in with the landing video as soon as that happens.
Okay. I had not,
And Carl called it just right. Rocket launching sweatshop. They're going off. They're launching that much. Now, any of the customer satellites will be. They'll still be have commentators.
I was thinking they need to take that Tesla electric truck, and start making RVs out of it.
Should
have solar panels on the top that how they have the awnings that pop out on the side of the RVs.
Yeah.
Have a solar deck on top with 2 more solar panels underneath it. When you get to where you're going, you press a button and it electronically kicks them out, and the legs pop down. And it triples your solar panel size. And then make the entire thing run off of a propane generator. Why propane, you may ask?
cheaper, not pollute, not supposed to be as polluting.
Cheaper, doesn't pollute as much, and you could run the stove and the oven
And all
and
that.
and the heater off the propane as well. So you'd only have one fuel you had to worry about instead of most RVs, which have diesel and then 2-cycle fuel for the generator and then whatever,
Well, a lot of them are now going to diesel generators,
which is smart. I mean, except that they make a lot of smoke. So. Whatever happened to the idea of turning zombies into biofuel? Oh wait, that was after the zombie apocalypse. Never mind. Yeah. There was some guy. He had this idea about getting a tugboat and a bunch of barges, and traveling up and down the Mississippi River during the zombie apocalypse, and using it to raid supplies for the boat, having housing on the boat. But at one end of the boat, one of the barges, he was going to have a wood chipper and basically go get zombies and feed them into the wood chipper, put them into a vat, and make biodiesel out of them. Somebody, I'm not sure who, paid him for the idea.
AMC.
Apparently somebody has a copyright on zombie biodiesel.
And which one of the newest riot vehicles are going to be equipped with that same system? It'd be just Soylent Green all over again. Oh, there was online
Zombie NATO.
who explained why zombies stagger around and nothing to do with them being decaying. He pointed out that one of the things physicians have to do to prepare is let's just say there's this glass corkscrew that gets inserted to eliminate certain effects of putrefaction between arrival and the funeral. So basically, the zombies with a 6-inch long corkscrew shaped glass butt plug. Thankfully, we waited till after family hour for me to remember that one, but
actually got another 30 minutes. But.
Oh well.
Oops.
Oh. No, I think a funeral director needs to be by law required to tie their
shoelaces
together.
And make sure they're places so they don't rot quickly.
Either that or zip ties. All right, landing burn. Here we go. And the camera froze. All right, there we go.
Stage 1 landing leg deployed.
Stuck another one.
No, you ever notice they're always off to the right?
Just a little bit.
Corollas forces. The Earth is spinning.
Yeah, but it should be the other direction.
Elon had a little bit to do with it leaning to the right.
depends on which way the camera's pointing.
True.
All right. But yeah, that's the show.
Well,
Okay,
that's
this
their
is an
show. We still got another 30 minutes.
I'm reading a news article from Screen Rant. Y'all remember the Airport franchise?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 70s disaster movie craze and all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Of course, they had what 5 or 6 of the Airport movies, and
Yeah.
a few oddball other companies that doing things like that. But apparently, those movies did really well to movie theater. Towering Inferno, Poseidon Adventure, things like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, weren't those Irwin Allen?
Somewhat, yeah.
Somewhere.
But interestingly enough, they're talking about revisiting those franchise, reviving it.
Well, I think Airport 78, Let's Land the Concorde in the Swiss Alps, pretty much was the end of the series.
Pretty much.
It'll work.
Well, you had that one where the guy had like Ebola on board the plane and no one would let him land. And they wound up having to crash a Concorde out in the jungle or something like that.
Well, I remember the airport I remember was they had to end up, George Kennedy was always the mechanic and always bragged on the 747s. They can do this, they can do that. He goes, those damn Concords can't do nothing.
What was it? 707 he was talking about. Says, you take the wings off of it, thing's built like a tank. I distinctly remember.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you take the
Dean
wings
Martin.
off of it, it flies like one too.
Oh, and do you know why they actually did the Concorde movie in the Swiss Alps in the snow? Because all that was poking up was the tail and a little hole in the snow for the people to come out of.
It was cheap.
You damn straight. Could you imagine trying to build a Concorde mock-up?
Derek Meddings could do
You
it.
probably get one pretty cheap now.
Yeah.
You can get a real one pretty cheap now.
Yeah, Zach says, yeah, well, that was fun. Yeah. You pretty much did your own commentary with it. Wish we could have tuned in, but we actually pulled the SpaceX feed for the landing only. And let's see, Gamer Teen 3D, HallowCon Online. What are your 7 best and 6 worst movies of all time? Well, if you came to HallowCon, you would see them.
And you could answer the best and the worst while you're watching them.
Yeah.
One of the problems with worst movies, okay, is that some of them are quite entertaining.
Yeah.
Even horrible movies can be entertaining.
Oh.
Don't believe me? Go out and buy the box set of Mystery Science Theater 3000. But
yeah. Plan 9 from Outer Space.
What's the one on a train with Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee?
Ghost Train?
I was thinking Horror Express, but they might.
Oh, yeah.
They might put it out under different names.
See, Hell Comes to Frogtown. Okay. Harlan Ellison at one of the conventions I went to actually said that movie was so bad it beat out Plan 9 from Outer Space as the worst science fiction movie of all time. Okay.
That takes some doing there.
That
was
takes
dedicated effort.
And to hear it from Harlan Ellison himself.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Harlan Ellison thought every movie that he didn't write was pretty much the worst science fiction movie ever written. So, see, what is another just bad?
Invasion of the Saucer Men.
Um,
If it weren't for Frank Gorshin, I'd go,
was it?
why am I watching this? And I go,
Uh,
oh, he's why I'm watching this.
Well, how about this? Them.
No,
Oh,
that one
yeah.
was actually
Uh,
that was a good movie for its day.
yeah. The Terror from Beyond Space.
Mm-hmm.
Killers from Space.
Oh, yes.
Mutiny in Outer Space. I'm gonna save this one for a minute. Uh,
Joe's just reading off his movie list for HallowCon.
Yeah.
That's all.
Zontar, The Thing from Venus.
Okay,
Oh,
I
yeah.
throw one out here. You're the hunter from the future.
Mm.
It's if you haven't heard of it, consider yourself blessed by God. Yeah.
Chris threw in one.
Okay. Alien from Melee. Yeah. No, Carl, please. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
That movie was hilarious, though.
Yeah, but Eat France. That was one I've never seen. So.
Also, Dan, do you remember the movie Rocket Ship XM?
Yes, I do.
Was it
I got
XM or X1?
XM.
XM.
So it was Fireball.
I got to watching the movie, and it is so surprisingly that rocket looks like Starship.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a reason George Pell used that design. It was absolutely Werner von Braun.
If I ever
Willy Ley.
win $1 billion in the lottery, I'm going to have Elon Musk build me a Starship, paint it red, put gold accents on it, and name it War Rocket Ajax.
Yeah,
Hey, Kerry. Oh,
Wait a minute. Let Carrie's here. We need to get Carrie in here. Carrie, get in the show because we got a question for you. Hang on a second. I'm going to throw this back up here real quick. Okay, from Gamer Team 3D, HallowCon Online. What are your 7 best and worst movies of all time? Carrie, get in here and throw one out. We haven't done best movies yet.
Now, Gamer, you'd be surprised at how much of those lists overlap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chris, said it says it may have inspired Elon. Well, actually, there are a lot of things. They actually show a map and the design and everything about the rocket. And they names a lot of the things the same as on Starship. So it's very possible. Except it doesn't have a heat shield tile for reentry.
Nursing a toothache. You have my sympathy, Kerry.
Now, where's Zach? Get in here. Is that Zach still watching? Zach, get in here. I need to ask you something about Elon Musk space station. Apparently, there are a lot of people building commercial space stations in the near future. So there are a lot of plans out there for it. Even NASA has started looking at commercial space stations as a replacement for the International Space Station. So,
is Amazon going to open one and just start drop shipping straight from space, or?
That's my idea.
Well, they could actually not do the header tanks and everything, and put hatches on the nose of starships. Put one starship up with 4 ports. Then starships docked all around it, and there'd be more space than 4 or 5 space stations combined in that one.
They're talking about putting a space station around the moon, which would simplify logistics for doing moon landings and such.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't actually need a massive rocket to get back and forth between Earth and the moon. You could just have a taxi or shuttle, whatever you call it. And all it does is just orbit back to the moon, back to Earth, back to the moon, back to Earth. Well,
There's a
Carl-
plan for the same thing for Mars.
Yeah.
yes.
Carl just nailed it.
Continuous.
Well, isn't that not Armstrong,
Hilton.
Buzz Aldrin's plan. There's a ship constantly in loop between Earth and Mars.
Yeah.
Several actually. There should be like one every 3 months.
Yeah.
Launch a new one, and you've just got it's a trolley system running around.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the one big
Basically, it's a subway train to Mars.
orbit. Exactly.
And then you launch from Earth, catch that to Mars, drop off to a space station or directly to the planet, then back up with a lander.
And Carl, Dollar General already has one in space. They just haven't released the pictures from the latest lunar landing.
Yeah. It's already
Keep
built on the moon.
expecting one of the Mars rovers to run up right on the parking lot, general, and have a golden pantry right next to it.
Okay. We're talking about shops on the moon or Mars. White Castle or Crystal?
Why not both?
Well,
we're
from
having
what I
competition.
hear, from what I hear, Crystal just completely says they're going with the mark of the beast and no cash. And the conspiracy theories are losing their mind.
Waffle House in space. Yes, indeed.
And then we'll start using Waffle House for when the solar storms are too bad.
Yeah,
If the
really.
Waffle House in space shuts down, then
The Waffle House on Mars is still operating. It's not as bad as you think, folks.
Can you imagine if you actually build a Waffle House on Mars, okay, and it just happens to get the attention of an extraterrestrial species traveling through space? What the hell is that?
Earth ain't. Hey, let's eat there. It's not Earth. Okay.
Because
I-
they'd have to have the
I'll
jukebox.
I'll see your Waffle House and raise you a varsity. Oh.
yeah, with the first time the aliens sit down for breakfast and one of them goes, "What's biscuits and gravy?" And they look at it and go, "It's wet flour on top of dry flour."
All right.
Hey, what do you have?
Hey, you remember that there was after Battlestar Galactica, the original one, they had Battlestar 1984,
82.
right? Battlestar, yeah, something.
Yeah.
But they were sitting down with the reporter in the coffee shop, and she ordered a coffee, and she looked at him and goes, "Would you guys like coffee?" And they had their little Earth language translator, so they typed into it, coffee. Do. Coffee, a drink made from beans. And they look at each other and go, "They drink beans?"
They have to be finely roasted first.
Now, I do remember the last episode of the original Battlestar Galactica. It's Starbuck was sitting up in the observatory, and Apollo comes up and says,
No, Apollo was
it
up
was
there.
Apollo up there,
Yeah,
and
in the
Starbuck
observatory.
comes up.
And Starbuck kept coming up, and whoever
And-
the girl was at the time.
Yeah. And they leave, and when they leave, they pick up the radio signal of Neil Armstrong landing on the moon
One small step for man.
after they'd walked away from the radio.
Yeah, he thought he had heard something, and he had heard part of the Apollo mission. And
Yeah, no. Chocolate covered espresso beans. That you don't want me with that.
yeah, we do. They're actually pretty damn good. The only place I know of that has it is Fresh Market. I can't find it anywhere else.
Very possibly HallowCon. Not going to say much more than that, but
and pickled eggs. Oh, let's see. Let me see.
Okay.
What were,
Okay.
we did the bad movies. Let's do some good movies.
Yeah, but the bad movies were pretty good.
Let's see. Oh. Trying to think of a really good sci-fi movie. Of course.
You mean besides Buckaroo Banzai?
Let's see. The Martian was pretty good.
Yeah.
What's
The
that one?
Arrival.
Mhm.
What's the one with Matthew McConaughey?
Interstellar.
Interstellar. That's pretty.
That's the one that even NASA went. It's pretty good.
Let's see. Well, Apollo 13, technically. Well, I don't know if you'd consider that a sci-fi movie, but
That's a
biopic.
docudrama, is what that was.
it's
Yeah.
Drama. Thank you. If you wanted to
Armageddon.
you'd have to go with Martin Caden's Marooned, which was the same movie but earlier.
Armageddon
and,
was a good movie, but the science sucked. I hate it when they blow the science. That's the only reason I didn't mention Gravity. Gravity was a pretty cool movie to watch, but the science behind it was terrible. Day After Tomorrow, that one where the
Yes.
Earth, the
Yep.
science behind that was just ridiculously horrible.
What was that movie with Andrew Garfield or Andrew the Spider-Man guy?
Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield, where it was on the space station. They caught something on the space station, and it
And it had Ryan Reynolds.
it was Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds was the guy that we got to watch die horribly.
And there was
Yes,
an alien.
Forbidden Planet.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
Saturday night, 8:00. No, Friday night, 8:00. And it took over the space station, all that, and there were 2 escape pods. And it just showed the 2 escape pods separating out from the space station. One went out into deep space, the other went to Earth. And you're hearing the diary, whatever, and whatever you do, don't open it, destroy it. And they rescue the one that lands on Earth, and that was the alien. Cloverfield, the beginning.
Real
That's
quick,
what-
just a quick hello to Keisha.
Hey, Keisha, glad to see you.
Well, of course you're still alive. You've got a baby to protect now.
I'm going to throw this one out here just because there's so many of them, but I'm going to throw it out anyway. Star Trek First Contact.
That was a very good movie.
If someone came to this planet and had never seen Star Trek and asked you, what is Star Trek? That is the movie that I would show them because it has got everything in it that is Star Trek.
Yeah. And I want my Picard moment with Starship, damn it.
The original Day the Earth Stood Still. That is another good classic sci-fi.
Saturday night.
Let's see. Now, I liked Them, even though it did have that trope about radioactive mutants. And all.
That's all right.
The
Actual action in it was wonderful. The characters were wonderful. It's just it was not the best, but it worked. It worked better than Tarantula.
I'm going to throw this one out here too, just because it's an awesome movie to watch. But A, bad science. B, he didn't follow the book worth a damn. Starship Troopers,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which, considering CGI technology at the time, that movie is awesome. It kind of set the bar for everybody else's, CGI. And then,
The Thing from Another World,
The
the
Thing from
original
Another
black
World.
and white. That movie, that's one of my absolute favorite movies.
James Arness and several. Now, the John Carpenter version with Kurt Russell in it was
That's
pretty
also
darn good.
good. That's also good.
It has its special effects moments.
Yeah. I don't like it for the I don't like it the same way I like the original, or for the same reason I like the original. Because directorial styles in movies had changed between the 50s and
Mhm.
what was it,
The
80s,
late
90s that
70s.
came out, late 70s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he say? Let me see. I want to look at this. Did he say just best and worst movies? Well, he did not say sci-fi movies.
He
Mhm.
just said worst.
Best and worst. Yeah.
Well, if you
Now,
look
for me, as far as like CGI and stuff at the time, Star Wars episode
Oh, Now,
4.
Rogue One. I love that one. Star Wars is good. Rogue One was something else entirely. It was great.
Star
But-
Wars, Rogue One was the perfect prequel to Star Wars.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you could honestly overlay the last 10 minutes of Rogue One with the start of Star Wars and explain everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it
And
would
it-
seamlessly match.
And it also explains why you don't have Blue Squadron during the Death
Yeah,
Star
I
run.
like it when they cover up plot holes.
Yep.
Well, technically, that wasn't a plot hole. That
It
was,
wasn't a plot hole; it was a technology hole, if you will.
yeah, I'm going to throw this up here again just so everybody can get in on it. Let's see what we're talking about. Gamer Team 3D wanted to know, HallowCon, what are your 7 best and worst movies of all time?
Now, another favorite of mine, Soldier, I believe was the name of it, with
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
What's his name from Star Trek Discovery and Harry Potter? Isaacs.
Yeah,
Jason Isaacs.
Jason Isaacs.
Jason Isaacs. Thank you. Played the commander in that one. Gary Busey.
Mhm.
And the ever lovely Connie Nielsen.
I'll tell you another one that did not get as good reviews as it should have. Enemy Mine.
Oh, yeah.
Enemy Mine is a good one. Yes.
Enemy Mine. Oh, that was an excellent movie, actually. I forgot.
Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Getting away from the sci-fi things. One of my favorite, Father Goose.
Yes.
Cary Grant, Leslie Caron, and Trent Howard. That's
And to answer Donna's question, I already looked up their YouTube channel. It is definitely not him.
Are they a decent person?
They have 1 video and 5 subscribers, and the 1 video is just a short.
Uh,
well.
They
It does
definitely
say
sound
gamer
like a
teen.
teen.
It does say gamer teen. He's just now getting into it.
No. Okay. Non-sci-fi.
Some other. Oh well, the Harry Potter series. Most of those movies are done very well.
I'm thinking of starting a new YouTube channel. Call it
Another
That's Gonna
one?
Cost You. Yeah, another one. I'm gonna call it That's Gonna Cost You, and just highlight big, interesting engineer failures. Even Joe likes that one.
I see engineer failures every day when I look at the plans for my current project. So
I mean, that'd be the perfect name for it. That's going to cost you.
That's going to go. Let's see.
Guys, we've only got a minute.
oh yeah.
Yep.
So I got to find the magic button. And that right there just about burned up the time. So what we need to say is good night, everybody.
Well, really, good night,
Good night,
everybody.
Good night,
everybody.
everybody.
Y'all have a good one. As of right now, I'm going to be backing away from Stupid O'Clock on Saturday nights
No, you're
until
not.
HallowCon's over. I'll pop in occasionally, but as full shows, I won't be here.
You'll be here.
Maybe not. But I'll still set the shows up for everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Say good night.
Night,
Good
everybody.
night.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.